It's after 3 o'clock. We're going to start. Was the meeting posted?
Yes. Commission will now open the matter of applications for special one-day license to sell dispense alcoholic beverages for beer and wine only, or either one. Joseph O. Dua for Saturday, May 24th, 2008, from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. This is for the Ghanaian Community of Greater Lowell, the
Just please
GCGL
approach the
Convention.
podium. Just take the podium.
This is for the GCGL Convention 08 dance to be at the Praise Tabernacle Church Hall at 125 Perry Street. Applications for all alcoholic beverages for a special one day. Blanc Yong for Saturday, May 24th, 2008, from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. It's a fundraiser for the Lowell Family Mutual Association of Greater Lowell at the Hellenic Cultural Center at 41 Broadway. And also Paul Panagopoulos for Saturday, May 17, 2008, from 7 p.m. to 12 noon, or midnight, excuse me, fundraiser at the Hellenic American Academy at 41 Broadway.
All right, if everybody could just please approach the podium and introduce yourself, state your name for the record.
Yeah, my name is Joseph O. Dua.
Thank you. Sir?
My name is Blong Song.
And I'm Paul Panagopoulos.
All right. How many of you have held a one-day license in the past? Have any of the three of you, please, remain standing. Have any of the three of you had a one-day license in the past? No. Oh, okay. I was hoping I could avoid this. All right, if Chairman Bayless was here, he would remind you that no matter what happens, this license is being issued in your name, and in your name only. Not in the name of your organization, not in the name of whatever group you represent, but in your name. And that means that at the end of the day, the only person who's responsible for any infractions or any violations is you. That means you're on the line, civilly and criminally, for any violations. So this license is being issued to you. It doesn't matter what the group is, what the organization is, where it's being held, you're the person responsible, which means that if you say the alcohol is shut off, it's shut off. If the organization that you're working with has a different opinion, well, that's too bad, because your name is on the license, and when it comes down to it, the person who's gonna have to stand up there and answer for any wrongdoing is you and you alone. Okay, do you understand all that? Okay, understanding that, do you still wish to have these licenses issued in your name? All right, you have to understand that, alcohol can only be served within the area that we're granting this one-day license for. People can't be wandering in and out with the alcohol. All right, you're gonna have to have people checking ID. All right, you can't be serving to minors. If anybody is serving to minors, if you're not working the bar and the person who is working the bar serves to a minor, the person who's responsible is you. Okay, so it's really in your best interest to make sure that all of this is done, because ultimately this license is being issued as your license, not your organization's license, not the activity's license. All right, you understand all of that, correct? Yes. All right.
I just have a quick, have any of you contacted the Lowell Police Department? Okay, I would suggest that you contact the Lowell Police Department. Let them be aware that you have this license, that you're in charge, so in case anything does happen, you can give them a call and they'll come in and help you out. You want to let your organization know that it is just you that the liability is going to fall on. So make sure that you protect yourself, okay?
All right, you've got that phrase, the buck stops here, and right now that stops with you. So, but contact the police department. I don't know if your functions have a detail working them. I don't know the size and scope of your individual operations, but you want to make sure that you have people ensuring that alcohol is not leaving the area for which the license is granted, and that people aren't being served. That license is going to be prominently displayed. So you want to make sure you're on top of this. Does the police department have anything?
No, we have no comments on this.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the licenses.
All right. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Good luck to you. All right.
Yes, thank you.
We'll now take up the matter of the public amusement application for an event at the Songus Arena. Robert Fode is the arena representative. This is the Gaither Homecoming. It's a religious concert. Its promoter is AEG Live. It's for Friday, May 16th, 2008, and it's from 6 p.m. to 11:30 p.m.
Good afternoon, just please
How you
state your
doing?
name for the record.
Robert Fode, Songus Arena.
Okay. Religious concerts, they get a little wild. I'm sure you've done a good show there, though.
Yeah, something different.
I have no questions.
No, I know you guys run a good show there. You know what you're doing. So with that, I'll make the motion to go ahead and grant the license.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
My question is, do you think we'll be as wild as like?
All set? Okay. Yeah. Commission will now open a hearing on the application by Wizardry Corp., doing business as Blue Tala, Stephen J. Ramirez, the manager, the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 15 County Square, for alteration of premises for an outside waterfront seating. That'll be the easterly side of the building, and it's approximately 1,050 square feet.
All right, before we go any further, I need to disclose a potential for conflict of interest. And the conflict of interest is this. I understand that the outside premises that the Blue Tale seeks to use for seating are owned by a client of my law firm's, and that he's granted permission for this. Now, I don't consider it to be an actual conflict, since we don't have any financial stake in it, and I don't think my client has any financial stake in it, but I don't want anybody to ever say that, I didn't disclose anything. So with that, I would ask if council has any objection to my invoking the rule of necessity and proceeding.
No, you disclosed what at best would appear to be the appearance of a potential conflict of interest at best. The rule of necessity would indicate that the matter is on for a public hearing. Public hearing's been noticed. Chairman Bayless is not present, may not be present for the foreseeable future, that they have a right to go forward on the hearing, and the rule of necessity is proper in this circumstances.
Okay, thank you. And with that, council, please introduce yourself.
George Theolides Jr., 133 Market Street, Lowell, Mass. And I'm here today with Mr. Ramirez, who's the manager of the establishment, and we have filed to give us some outside seating. As I'm sure you're aware, the restaurant's been open for a little over 3 months now. It's been a wildly successful, I think I can say, establishment for the city, and I don't mean wildly like crazy, by the way. It's just been a great addition to the city. They've done a wonderful job operating the place, and now they just want to be able in this fine weather to serve the general public outside. I should note that whereas in most of the instances for outside serving in the city, there are licenses from the city for sidewalk use and whatever. In this case, the property is actually private, that we anticipate is actually privately owned by a condominium association, or an owner of a portion of the condominium association. Mr. Ramirez and his wife actually own the condominium that they're in, and adjacent to it have rights to use it, but in this case, obviously, they want to go the step further and offer to the general public. So I submitted some pictures of the area so that everybody would get an idea of what we were talking about, but I think the commissioners are familiar with the area I'm talking about, and Mr. Ramirez and I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, first, I mean, do either of you have any objection with my sitting on this?
Absolutely zero.
Okay. All right, have all the abutters been notified?
What is the return receipts, like postal slips and the affidavits?
Okay.
Great.
And-
Yes, all the abutters were notified by certified mail on, as per that list.
all right. And let me ask, has anybody been in contact with anybody who would have rights of way or easements with respect to the use of that property?
The only owner with rights of way and, with rights over the way, has not only been contacted, but we've entered into a license agreement with that party. And part of that license agreement obviously makes it that we are, we'll close up and clean up every night. We will allow people to pass and repass as needed if anyone else needs to get to the rear of the property or whatever. It's a fairly standard license agreement, but it does provide protection for everybody, I think, in this case.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about what you plan.
Well, we plan 10 tables of 4, and they're in a square shape. They'll have umbrellas, wooden umbrellas, actually, really sharp looking. They're going to go close to the building, so they're not going to be touching the fence, which we look like we'll still have well over 8 feet or more from where what we're using will end for the public to walk through, so there'll be plenty of room. We'll have it roped off in a fashion of chain or rope or what looks the best. And everything will be brought in at night. These tables are designed to fold, go either tight against the building, locked up, but to be honest with you, we're going to pull them in because they're light, they're sharp looking. And it will be-
My only question is, and I'm sure it's addressed in that licensing agreement, but if you look at the picture that you submitted, there are 2 cars on that road.
That's-
Now, when the tables are out there, are cars gonna be able to pass back and forth?
No, they're not. What it is
Okay.
the rest of the building's been vacant, so a lot of us have been parking in the back. So
Okay.
no, that won't be, those are our personal cars. And
But those are your personal vehicles?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
and they won't, right.
Okay, but, so there's nobody who's gonna have a parking right that's gonna be driving
Yes,
through
no,
while,
no, not right, no.
okay.
There's
Making
actually an
sure
old
nobody's-
gate too, to the entrance that could be still used to be.
Okay,
closed.
that's what we're just trying to,
Yeah.
because I know the Lowell Sun trucks used to swing around in that
Come in,
area, but
right,
no one's
right.
gonna be doing that anymore.
Right,
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I guess we just want to make sure is the same question we had with Central Restaurant that was last week is that, I guess our concern was that we didn't want it to turn into an outside bar. More that this was going to be a restaurant where you could serve alcohol outside while people are eating. You're not just going to be hanging out there as,
Right.
as an outdoor bar.
full service, right.
Great.
Right, yep. yep.
All right,
I believe this is on for a public hearing.
okay,
It's on for a public hearing of just
So,
opening. I
on
don't
for
know if
public
anyone's
hearing?
here to speak in favor or in opposition.
all right. All right, so let's get the public hearing portion. Do we have anybody here to speak in favor, in favor, in favor of the proposal? That portion, no one speaking in favor, that portion will be closed. Is there anyone to speak in opposition? In opposition? In opposition to the proposal? Seeing no one, that portion of the public hearing is closed. Any other issues or
No,
concerns?
I think it looks good and I wish you good luck.
Thank you.
And with that, I'll make a motion to approve the
I'll,
alteration.
I'll second the motion. And with that, call it for a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. All right, thank you and good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We
I'll
thank
say
you very much.
The business is a success. I was down there myself this weekend, and I did note that there was a large, group of people, like bustling. I mean, people coming in from all over to eat there, so.
Great, 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 thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Take care, thank you.
I'll check, we are gonna get through this.
Okay, so we're all set. Thank you. Great, thank you, George. Great, say hello to Mrs. Thanks, Harry.
Commission will now take up the matter of an application for change of manager by the Outback New England Roman numeral II Limited Partnership, doing business as Outback Steakhouse, the all-alcoholic beverages restaurant licensee for premises at 28 Reese Avenue. Change of manager from Kelly Murphy to Carl Michael Vogel of Clinton, Connecticut.
Good afternoon. Joe Devlin from the DeMarcus Law Offices in Lynn, Massachusetts for the licensee Outback New England-2 Limited Partnership. With me is Carl Vogel, the proposed manager. Just a few words about him. He's obviously been in the food and beverage service industry for 19 years, which is hard to believe because he looks like he's about 25. But the last 5 years he's been, or 4 years, he's been with, or 3 years, excuse me, with Outback down in Connecticut. He's been a manager there. He lives with his, right now he lives with his wife and 2-year-old daughter up in Tingsboro, and he's getting used to the area, getting his feet wet over at the location, and he's eager to take over. I believe the last time I was here, Ms. Murphy discussed the training program, and it's a continuing yearly or biannual training program that Outback has for server training that the managers have to pass. If they don't pass the written part of it after taking the course again, they can't work. I've let him know that my brother on the commission also eats there and enjoys reading obscure merger and acquisition agreements, so even more reason to be vigilant that not only the police and the ABCC will be there, but a member of the commission as well. But seriously, in speaking to him, same kind of level of professionalism. I think I said this the last time. Every time I talk to these managers, it seems like I'm talking to a vice president at like Oracle or IBM. So, and he's here to answer any questions you might have.
I just want to know how many restaurants you go to on a weekly basis.
I'm single, and I can state for the record that I've turned my stove on once in 2 years. So, do the math.
So you've managed restaurants in the past?
I have.
Okay. And have there ever been any violations while you've been the manager with a liquor license?
No.
Oh, okay. That's all I have.
Welcome to the area.
Thank you.
obviously.
Yes, we are familiar with Outback. I'll take notice of the fact that we've covered all of the Outback training requirements as far as their version of the tip certification, making sure that, nobody's being overserved.
Right.
You're obviously gonna be living in the area, which means you're on call, which means you're also
Absolutely.
on the hook. So, now how long have you, had or been involved with serving alcohol?
About 19 years now, give or take everything,
Okay.
from waiting tables and moving up.
All right. And you've had licenses issued, or you've been management for a liquor license in the past, correct?
For a liquor license in
Yes.
my name?
Yeah, well, either in your name or as the manager
Oh,
of an establishment.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And again, being reasonably familiar with the Outback practices, I have no questions. I'll make the motion to go ahead and approve the transfer of management.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Still
Thank
needs
you,
to go to
gentlemen.
Boston, but
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Webb.
Commission will now take up a matter of a request on behalf of the Lowell Provision Company, the licensee at 963 Chelmsford Street, to amend its packaged goods store license from originally being a wines-only convenience specialty store to allow the sale and storage of malt beverages. Peter Doyle is the manager of Lowell Provision Company, and his attorney is Attorney George C. Eliades Jr. They wish to speak to the board on the matter.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, George C. Eliades Jr., 133 Market Street, Lowell, for the record. And I'm here with Mr. Doyle of Lowell Provision Company. And I guess having heard about the Outback, which I'm sure you're familiar is not very far away from the front door of Mr. Doyle's premises across the street, before anyone goes to the Outback, if they need some provisions to go home with, we have a wonderful new place that they can come to, and hopefully, I don't know if the commissioners have had an opportunity to see the new establishment, but this is the new place that was built right across the street on Chelmsford Street where the music store used to be, and they have put together a fabulous store. It's not just meat and fish, it's meat and fish, it's also vegetables, it's a one-stop shop, and it's a wonderful place, and they're happy and proud to be back in Lowell, I should say. As I think you probably know, they were operating Alpine out in Chelmsford, and though it was a wonderful location there, the Doyle family has run Lowell Provision for over 75 years. Over 95 years, Peter corrects me, in Lowell, with a location in Centerville. This sounds like an ad, but I'm just doing this by way of background, by way. In any event, we originally thought of, because a lot of people had told Peter, and you're probably familiar with some of the competitors that he has, I won't use the B word, but the B boy or something like that. These other places also offer specialty wines and everything, which is why Peter's family in the first instance thought that that would be a good thing for them to deal with. And that too has been a wonderful success. But in addition to that, they've now found people come in and say, gee, how about some specialty beers, some microbrews and whatever? We'd enjoy something like that. And they'd like the idea of one-stop shopping so they can do it all at once. So we don't want to enlarge that section that much, but we do figure that we need to make the people happy and comfortable. And that's the reason. And when we were here before for the original license, it appeared that we'd just be dealing with wine, and we made it clear to the commission that it was only wine, but that if we ever decided to do something else, we would come back, and therefore that's we're here to tell you about that. So Mr. Doyle's with me. He'd love to answer any questions you have. Again, I say it's a fabulous place. I hope if there's anybody listening or watching or whatever, they all take an opportunity to go and see it. And we just want to ask the commission to put blessing on us dealing with the microbrews and the specialty beers. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll tell you that I guess the original license predates both of us.
Oh, I didn't realize
It's
that.
about 2 weeks prior to my being appointed. So it was the original vote. So I'm not too familiar with it. I would ask for some background.
Well, essentially, Attorney Eliades had made the presentation in April of 2007, April 12th to be exact, in which Mr. Doyle was erecting a new building. Premises had yet to be constructed. It was an application for premises to be so built. On the first floor, first of 2 floors would be the retail space. The intent was to have just wine only, specialty. Technically, the license to be granted would come out of available licenses the city may grant, which would fall into the category of malt beverages and wine for packaged goods store. The city of Lowell presently has no all-alcoholic packaged goods store licenses. We've granted and issued all 22 licenses. Now, the city is in a position to grant and issue malt beverages and wine only. Unusual in his application being that it would be for specialty wine. technically, he could have said beer and wine, and the commission would have taken the favorable action at that time in April, as they did just for wine only. The Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission considers this license one of the 22 that the city may grant for beer and wine only.
All right, so this license is already counting against, we're not expanding or giving out an additional license that's otherwise gonna be counted against the city?
No, essentially, it's really a matter for the, as the attorney Elides is, and Mr. Doyle, it's a courtesy presenting to the License Commission. In fact, I had received a call from one of the distributors in the greater Lowell area, couldn't understand why the license that was issued was just wine only. And as I stated, as I just told you, Mr. Commissioner, that was what was requested, and that was what was granted. As it stands right now, the request is to amend that license so that the local board would allow for beer as well as wine.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, all right. I just want to make sure that you know that you're providing alcohol. You have the wine already. So just be vigilant on who comes in and who purchases alcohol, because I know Commissioner or Chairman Bayless would make sure, you know, if someone from Lowell High went in and purchased alcohol, everybody at Lowell High would know the next day that we're going to Lowell Provision to buy beer or wine. So just make sure that you're vigilant, because you're taking on a whole nother realm by adding the malt beverages. But the building looks great, it looks fabulous, and I wish you good luck.
Thank you. All right, and from the department, I don't know with the underage, with the stings that go, have they ever been the subject of one? Have they passed any, failed any, that you're aware of?
No, not that I'm aware of. I don't think they're open during the hours that we've done any of these things in the past.
Okay.
Our fit, you know, we offer, you know, steaks and vegetables, and, you know, it's kind of, you know, like, you know, the movie Porky's, you know, you come and give me, oh, and by the way, give me a bottle of wine. It's not the customer base that I have.
Okay.
And, you know.
All right, with that, I mean, I understand it's, Chairman Bayless and Commissioner Geary had previously granted it. I don't see any reason to oppose, since it's already counted as one of the malt and wine licenses, so.
I'll make a motion to approve
All right,
the
I'll second.
change.
I'll second the motion. With that, motion made and seconded, all in favor, say yes?
Yes.
Yes. All right,
We
Good
thank you
luck.
very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
I think, do you want to know how to get there, or something special this week, or?
It's also right near the movie theater, which single people tend to frequent as well.
Mr. Doyle, if you should come by tomorrow after,
I plan on coming by tomorrow.
if you want to bring in the license for the wine only, and I'll exchange that
Bring the original that I
for
have.
beer and wine. Okay?
I'll do that.
All right, thank you.
Good luck.
Members of the commission, we have now a communication from the superintendent of police, Kenneth LaValle. It's dated April the 23rd, 2008. It's an allegation of misconduct against the licensee known as Mango Tango Inc., doing business as Mango Tango Hot Pot and Grill. Sand Thatch is the manager of record. She's the manager, and it's the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 602-608 Merrimack Street. I had an opportunity to fax to you by mail the superintendent's letter of complaint as well as police reports. It would be now up to the board to set a date for a hearing. And I just made for your consideration before you set that date as to what you might want to consider as far as procedure. Our next regular meeting is May the 22nd. And my only consideration is if you wanted to think about a possible sanction, state law requires that you give 14 days advance notice if you were looking to decrease hours, if that's in any way a consideration. So the one option is whether to schedule a date for after the 22nd of May.
I think looking at that may be something that will we would want to consider, so why don't we schedule it for the next meeting of June 5th? But, yes, I think we should be considering whether or not there would be a decrease in hours or a revocation. I think,
Okay.
I'll ask the department, there have been other incidents at the Mango Tango, correct?
Yes, there have been other incidents over the past 6 months to a year. I think at least on one prior occasion, they've been brought before the commission.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and schedule that then for potential actions against the license for the June 5th meeting.
Okay, sure. So that's the consideration being if there was a decrease in hours by state law, if the licensing board was to impose that type of sanction, the licensee has to be given at least a 14-day notice of that possible action. If the commission was to hold the hearing on May the 22nd, it would not be sufficient time to meet the requirement by statute.
And also, one other thing, just from a practical standpoint, that I know in the past, by the time notice gets sent to the licensee, by the time they get counsel, sometimes they're up here asking for a continuance when officers are present. And so, I would always recommend at least, skipping one meeting, going to the fourth one, like you're proposing for June 5th, just for coordination, to give them, if they do want additional time, that they notify us in time, so we don't have officers coming in unnecessarily.
I would make the motion that any notice being sent out to them include that they have to give this commission 48 hours or 72 hours notice.
We have 4 days.
4 days advance notice of any request for a continuance, only because we don't want to have the officers coming in, especially if they're coming in on their days off. Okay? All right.
Yeah.
I'll second that motion.
Do we have to call a vote? All in favor? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and I have just one other thing for the agenda. I'd spoken with the gentleman who is looking to open up Lowell Beer Works. He contacted the office. Joe Slazar he's the president of the Slazar Brothers Brewing Company. And apparently, recently the commission had taken action on the application for Lowell Beer Works to acquire the use of the first floor of the premises at 199, 201, 205 Cabot Street. And that the existing business, the Brewery Exchange, would take its first floor operations out of there and just operate solely out of the second and third floors, which they currently have part of their licensed premises. As you may recall, the action was to grant a beer and wine license to the Lowell Beer Works, Slazar Brothers Brewing Company, Inc., and for beer and wine only for the first floor. Apparently, the paperwork that I had forwarded to the Boston, there is a question from the investigators to the Slazar Brothers. Confusion lies in the numbering of the doors and who is to be at 201 Cabot Street. So, for purposes of clarification, I suggested to Joe Slazar that he may want to contact the city engineer's office to see what numbers, because generally the source for numbering numbered addresses originates, as I understand it, from the city engineer's office, at least in terms of what numbers are for consideration for a piece of property. For tax assessment purposes, that piece of property is only under 199 Cabot Street. 199 Cabot Street, as far as Joe Slazar is concerned, would be the business address for his brewing operation. It had nothing to do with the license that was granted by the License Commission. It's strictly a licensing done by the state, by the Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission. What was not brought to your attention when this consideration for the application by Lowell Beer Works and the Brewery Exchange was the fact that 201, which was primarily the numbered entranceway to the Brewery Exchange on the first floor, has been sealed off. so that only allows access to the second and third floor. That was not brought to the board's attention, but the original plan will show that there is a little line, and that is actually a wall that's been erected. And that is to show that it's not to allow direct entrance to what customers may have been familiar with by going in that way at 201 and then taking a left into the dining area. So that's not going to be possible for anyone looking to go to the Beer Works restaurant. So, short of it is, the ABC wants some clarification on who's got what number. The way it was pointed out on the notices to the ABC on each application, I had it as 201 Cabot Street for the Brewery Exchange. In addition, I had it 201, 205 for the Salazar Brothers. So what Mr. Salazar is doing by way of communication to the ABC and copying to the License Commission is letting the ABC know that they have no desire to use 201 and that they're looking to use 203 and just simply 203 as their main door for the restaurant. I don't know whether you wish to have Mr. Salazar here before you. I did suggest it to him. Apparently he thinks I didn't speak to him once receiving the letter, but he seems to think that that may suffice. So I leave that to your discretion as to what you want further clarification from him on that, but yes.
No, for 201 is just gonna be used for
The second and third floors.
second and third floors, which is the Brewery Exchange.
Brewery Exchange.
So that door is gonna be marked as Brewery Exchange 201. And
Right, in other words, yeah, that's the understand.
203 and 205, but primarily 203 is the Lowell Beer Works.
Exactly, for the first floor.
I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, I don't seem to have an issue with it. If it requires a vote by us, I would motion that whatever separate and distinct numbers that they resolve between themselves and the city engineer, that the licenses should reflect those numbers so that they are separate and distinct, however the ABC needs it. But I don't think it would change our vote on anything, so.
It's just,
I don't
it's,
think we need
I
to
think
call
it's
it
just
in.
a matter of record and just to differentiate, and it's more for the sake of the ABC than it is for the local authorities, because the ABC seems to have, some sort of drew a blank as to how could you have two licensees at the same number door? And then I did talk at length with Joe Salazar about that, and I said, it's not really the intent of the local board to create that confusion. We know what's going on. If the ABC thinks it needs a little different,
I guess it's a good thing we don't have any high-rises here with more than one restaurant or anything in them. But, okay, I think this is a numbering issue for the ABC.
Yeah.
Let's let the city engineer award appropriate addresses and have our licenses reflect those. Yeah, I don't think we need to bring him in for an explanation on it.
No. That's it.
All right. Is there any other issue before the board? We have two people in the back.
I own Cafe Paradiso downtown. I rented 177 Merrimack Street to a flower shop that's going to be opening up. What they're requesting is a peddler license for Mother's Day to sell outside. I don't know.
Okay, and they're gonna need, if there's a license, they're gonna need to put an application in for it, but they should go ahead and contact the licensing
They're not
commission.
gonna get it by Sunday.
Yeah.
My business partner, Faith Chantrad, had spoke to you and has a fax from you with 2 dates, and she claims that she was under the understanding that it was a peddler's license that they were applying for, and that she just needed to show up. I have a fax here received from you on April 18th.
Okay.
Okay.
If it didn't go on, that's just.
Go ahead and give us an explanation.
the office received a call from a person who apparently, obviously, you're well acquainted with, looking to sell flowers, cut flowers on Mother's Day. Apparently, the business is to open as a storefront. So as to accommodate, I faxed the application and information to file, but nothing has been filed for today's agenda.
Okay.
So there's nothing further to be said on the matter. As far as the board is concerned, I would suggest.
That's fine.
I mean, it's unfortunate that Mother's Day is Sunday, but if there's not a proper application and it's not been properly noticed on the agenda, then I don't see how we can take any action granting a peddler's license for Mother's Day.
We need to have an application to vote on, so, but we don't have an application in front of us.
The other thing is, the other matter is that generally the sidewalk stand permit that it typically is granted to a retail business is the fact that the retail business is open and operates. And all that the city is requiring of such a business in which they wish to use the sidewalk as a kind of display area or sale area for one day or several days or through the summer, is that they have liability insurance of at least $500,000. The city's co-insured, protected. This is common during the Folk Festival weekend. Many of the businesses downtown on Merrimack Street in particular, and I think Adriana is well familiar with the process. There's no reason why the application wasn't filed yesterday or any time before. The deadline for filing for the agenda is 10 in the morning of the day of the meeting. I completely, quite frankly, I forgot all about this faxing and this communication I had with the young lady I spoke on the phone about 2 weeks ago.
Sorry to interrupt. My business partner, Faith Chantrad, we do have insurance, but we have our insurance certificate here for you today. Her husband is a deputy sheriff of the Drake Police Department. She owns 2 flower shops in Drake. My understanding is, according to this fax that she's received, if you'd like to see it, that she was under the impression that she needed to show up at this date, and that there was that it would be taken care of on this date, and not anything about an agenda.
And I have to apologize, but if we don't have an application, I can't vote on it.
Okay.
So I can't put it on for today. I mean, that's a reason that, I mean, as far as applying, should have, and if the business isn't going to be open, granting a peddler's license to a business that isn't open wouldn't even be consistent with what we've done in the past.
Although she owns 2 other flower shops in Drake,
And this
even
is-
if the license is under that name.
This is Lowell. And this is Lowell.
That's fine.
understand.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, any other matters before the board? Okay, let's give our best wishes to Benjamin and best wishes to
We'd like to wish Chairman Bayless good health and good recovery.
With that, we're adjourned. Motion to
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right, second. All in favor?
Yes.